Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If this is something you end up enjoying, you never know, it could happen. Anyway, this is my monthly update, month of August this time, and then my TBR for the next month for September, which I know we're already almost a week into. It's been a last couple of weeks slash months. Holy cow, I can give you all the excuses in the world. But with school starting up for my kids, all of their after school programs, the taxi service has begun again. And then on top of it, I think school starting up is exactly what happens to every divorce lawyer is, all right, now it's time to start throwing down. Not to mention, I've been appointed to, I believe, every single emergency hearing known to man. Okay, maybe that's a little bit much, but it's been like 7 in the last 2 weeks when I'm usually getting like 1. So I don't really know what sleep is like. I'd love to know. But anyway, the show must go on, right? So anyway, let's get into our monthly update for August. The first book I read was Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski. This is The Witcher. It's actually a prequel. It's, as I understand it, right after The Last Wish. It's a short story collection that's right after that, which makes sense. It's also short stories. All I had was Blood of Elves on me. This is actually the next one that I plan on reading. We already did a live stream. If you want to check that out, I'll post it below in the description. Hopefully I'll remember. But I did that on J.R. Carroll's channel. And those are really fun. J.R. Carroll's really gotten me back into reading The Witcher, which I thought I was not a fan of. Turns out it took a reread and, I don't know, a more mature look or something, maybe a less mature look, I don't know. Something happened where I went from really just being disappointed with The Last Wish and actually loving it, and probably loving it actually even more than The Sword of Destiny. But Sword of Destiny was right pretty much on the same level. Really good short stories, some a little forgettable, but for the most part really, really well done, and I'm a fan and I can't wait to, like I said, read Blood of Elves. This is an old school cover. I've been through a lot of covers lately. Then I did it. I finished the book that I started actually 2 months ago, took a break to do a readathon, and then made it into the Lives of Locomora, finished it up. This is one of my just favorite books. It's so good. Scott Lynch just knocks it out of the park. There's so much intrigue and everything. I'm going to do a full review on this for sure. But the things that kind of stands out to me, I know a lot of people will complain. The main complaint in this book is that people will say they don't love the interludes, the kind of the past, the parts where you jump back to the past. I don't know, on reread, I loved them, and I thought it really was well done in the fact that I feel like you really have to know your characters well to be able to do this kind of jumping back and forth. To be able to pull that off, but on top of it, just, they'd usually pay off right away, but some of the payoffs on some of these, like jumping back, they really, like, you felt like they were right away, but then some were like all the way at the end, and I'll leave it at that. I won't spoil more than that, but just really well done. Just a really cleverly written and puzzle and everything, with great kind of low magic, more in the thieving and everything. I just love the name Gentleman Bastard. So there's so many good things. I can't wait to read Red Seas Under Red Skies, which I've heard mixed things about, but I feel like a lot of times people will compare a book to like the pinnacle, like the best thing ever, which is the first book or something like that. When it's like, you gotta also take a step back and compare a book of an author's work to all fantasy books. And I just feel like Scott Lynch is just on another level. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. I haven't read any of the sequels, so I'm excited. All right, and this will show, it was a bit of a rough month. I went from, I think, a 6-book reading month, maybe 7, to a 3, and one of them I was already halfway into. It was kind of rough. It was a bit of a mood reader month. I would start things, kind of stop things, and you'll find out with my September reading plans. One of those is kind of to just switch genres, because that's usually my go-to of like if I'm kind of stuck. But I kind of let myself, after being so strictly tied to a TBR for that readathon, and then for other read-alongs that I'm doing, I kind of was like, let's mood read. And then I realized and this I have the book, but the Five by Robert McCammon, I realized that my Audible, there was like a free download and it was expiring pretty soon. So I figured, hey, might as well jump it. I'll mood read this. I haven't read Robert McCammon before. And I felt like this was probably a good spot to start with McCammon because I feel like there's definitely, I mean, he gets a Stephen King quote on there even, but I feel like he is kind of easily compared to Stephen King because he's got a lot of similar things. Like, I feel like, has King written about a band? Maybe not, but I feel like he could have. Maybe that's George R. R. Martin I'm thinking of, the Armageddon rag. But with Stephen King, you know, they both got like Boy's Life and then, you know, The Body. You've got Swan Song for McCammon. You've got the Stand. So they got a lot of similar kind of things that they've tackled. They kind of, and I get the comparison to King because there's really well drawn out characters. I just feel like McCammon really deserves to be up there. Just having read this with King. Now, was this my favorite book ever? No, it wasn't. It didn't like knock me away. I think maybe my expectations were too high. I liked a lot about it. I liked the thought-provoking nature of it. But you know, I'm excited to read other things by McCammon, and why I think this was a good starting point was that I enjoyed it. I didn't absolutely love it. I wasn't blown away by it, but at the same time, I am ready for more. I'm excited, and I think, you know, maybe my same approach to reading Discworld is, if you kind of already know you're going to probably like an author, it's probably good to start not at the top and then get disappointed from there, but to start maybe at the middle level. So that's my plan here. I think it's working. I still enjoyed it quite a bit, but I'll have to do more on that one. So anyway, okay, that was August. Not my greatest reading month. I'm still on track for the year. I got so far ahead now. I have 55 as my plan for the year, and I think I'm like 4 books ahead last I checked. So currently reading, this was a kind of, hey, maybe bust a slump here, but switched genres. Another one of those expiring audiobooks was Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. I've heard a lot of booktubers that I follow read that. I think Black and Blue Collar Reader even. Correct me if I'm wrong, editing Bryce. But I had heard a lot of good things, and so I started that one. You know, it's a Western, Mexican-American War kind of era. Already starting out, not sure I'm extremely comfortable with the amount of certain words being used. So anyway, it's always just anyway, jarring to say the least. You can't anyway. I get what he's going for, I guess. It's of its time, I guess, too, but not always the best. But we'll see. I'll try to keep pushing through. We'll see. Let me know if I should or not. All right, then, like I said, Blood of Elves. There it is. We are going to be doing another live stream talking about Blood of Elves. What's nice is this is the first full length, so any of these live streams are pretty much spoiler free. There's slightly spoilers for other stuff, but I am excited. Like I said, first full length novel of The Witcher, so I'm really excited for that. All right, then everybody was very excited last month when I said I might be reading Project Hail Mary. At least a bunch of commenters were. I actually might read it this month. I don't want to like keep pushing this out. Let myself, like I said, mood read a little bit there, but I want to stick to this one. I don't want to keep adding it to these videos. It just feels wrong. Bait and switch. You know, I would never bait and switch anyone. That's not me. Then I really want to keep on my goal of finishing up series. So this is The Last Command, last book in the Thrawn trilogy by Timothy Zahn. Again, Ahsoka's out, and I was planning on trying to read this, but at least I've read the first 2 before Ahsoka came out. Haven't quite watched it anyway, so we'll get to it. Man, life is just too crazy right now. All right, looking over last month, I did try to keep myself accountable here, not trying to just, again, bait and switch this time. But The Last Command was on my list last time. Necessary Evil by Ian Tregillis was on my list. That may be pushed out. We'll see. Project Hail Mary was on the list, like I said. And then also Oathbringer. Been kind of dabbling into it. I don't know, it's hard not to just keep reading when you just read a little bit because it's so good. And I love the Stormlight Archive so much. So kind of some things playing around there. I also kind of wanted to leave myself some mood reading time, but I don't know if I did. I probably did not. Too many things that I took on, that I continue to take on. It's just too much fun to read books with people. That's part of why I got onto YouTube, was to join the community, have a community, and enjoy silly jokes and fun times and profound experiences together while reading, right? And thinking through some things, and maybe changing our lives a little. I don't know, maybe not a lot, or maybe a little, and who knows, maybe a lot even. Anyway, I hope you are enjoying your reading. Happy reading to you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.